In section 3, we're going to be talking about problem solving. So to help us with this, we're going to use Poya's 4 steps in problem solving. So Poya, mathematician, lived, I think, in Hungary and moved to California. Poya was born in 1887 and I think died in 1985. So when you think about like 1887, 1985, it's like, wow, almost lived 100 years. That's awesome. So, anyways, he came up with these basic 4 steps that we use all the time. All right. So I'm just gonna kind of give you the 30,000 foot view of these. You can really dive down and read this, but I think there's some things that we overlook. Like for example, in step one is just understanding the problem. Okay. Now for me, there is no math involved. I don't want to. Sometimes students are so quick to like give me numbers and stuff like that, or trying to tell me what formula to use, and I'm like, wait a minute. What's happening in this problem? Okay? So, no math, just tell me in general what's happening. Step 2, you want to devise a plan. Let me go ahead and use a highlighter. I think that's going to be the best. So, there's step 1. Here we go. Yeah, it looks good. Step 2 is to devise a plan. All right? You want to look for inductive reasoning. Is there a pattern? Or maybe create a table. Maybe you want to use trial and error, okay? But this is where you devise a plan. To really help us out with step 2, just write down what you know, okay? Then you want to try to label a variable if you can. That's the thing that you don't know, okay? Finally, step 3, we are going to carry out our plan, all right? So within step 2, which obviously is the most important one, you should start to see a plan developing. And I can tell you this, a lot of the time, the majority of the time, you're not going to be using a formula. You're going to be creating your own formula. You're going to be creating your own problem. Step 3 is just, okay, do it. And then step 4 is just look back and check to make sure the answer is correct. All right? So let's go ahead and let's see some of these problems here. Okay? So here's our first one here. And it's a very straightforward one, and you're going to have homework problems like this. And it said, what is the better value? A 15.3 ounce box of cereal for $3.37 or a 24 ounce box of cereal for $4.59. So when I look at this, and I do this all the time when I'm shopping, okay? What I'm really concerned with here is, am I going to get, and I'm sure you heard this phrase before, what is the best deal for my dollar? What is the best bang for my buck is what, like, I used to hear all the time. So in order for us to do this problem, let's think about this. What's happening? All right, that's step 1, understand. What's happening? Well, we're buying cereal. That's what we're buying. Okay? No math. Look, there's no numbers here. And what are we trying to do? We're trying to get the best deal. All right? Step 2. Now, remember, with step 2, this is where you want to try to, excuse me, you want to devise a plan. All right? So, what is our plan here? Well, we're going to compare two different deals. And how are we going to compare them? We're going to use this thing, and this is in your text. It's called unit price. All right? In fact, if you go to, let's say, Sam's Club, Costco, Walmart, even Target, when you look at how much something costs, usually it's up in one of these corners, like up here or down a lower right. They tell you what the unit price is. The unit price is going to be equal to, oh, wrong color, the price per amount. So, like, for example, for the first box, that is going to be $3.37. $4.37 per 15.3 ounces. And then the second is going to be $4.59 per 24 ounces. Okay? Now, step 3 is just to carry out the plan. All right? And that just means go ahead and do your math. So, we have $3.37 over 15.3. And I'm just going to do this off to the side here on my calculator. So that's going to give me 22 cents per 1 ounce. All right, that's what the first one comes to. Our second is $4.59 per 24 ounces. So that's going to be $4.59 divided by 24. It's going to be 19 cents per 1 ounce. So since that is the smaller number, that is going to be our better deal. So remember, step 4 is quite simply stated as, doesn't make sense. Well, in this situation, all right, it completely makes sense, and the math supports why. Even though you're spending a little bit more money, you're getting a lot more for your money. So in other words, you're getting the best bang for your buck. All right. So that is an example using unit price. Okay. In this problem here, we're going to be talking about acetaminophen, which is in many non-prescription medications. And thus it makes it very easy to get more than 4,000 milligrams per day, which is linked to liver damage and exceeds the recommended 3,250 milligram daily maximum. All right. So we're going to use this information to answer the question 15A and 15B. So what do we know here? So Tylenol Extra Strength contains 500 milligrams of acetaminophen. NyQuil cold and flu contains 325 milligrams of acetaminophen. So let's use this information. First thing, what is the maximum number of Tylenol Extra Strength that we could take in 24 hours? Okay, so this is the max number. So what's happening in this problem? We're taking medicine. That's it. No math. 2, what do we know about this medicine? Well, we know it's Tylenol Extra Strength. All right, so we know it's Tylenol. We know Tylenol itself contains 500 milligrams of acetaminophen. We also know the max we are allowed is 3,250 milligrams. That's right here. Let me highlight it for you. The recommended daily max, 3,250. So what they're really asking us in this problem is how many of these Tylenol Extra Strengths can we take in 24 hours? In other words, how many times does 500 go into 3,250? So this is just a simple division problem. So our setup is just going to be 3,250 divided by 500. So if I get out my calculator, type this in, I get 6.5. So this would be step 3. I'm sorry, I'm moving too fast. So that's step 3. Carry out our plan. We're going to divide. So our max is going to be 6 because 6.5 would go over the max. So the max that we have is 6. And when you think about that, does it make sense? Well, 6 times 500 is 3,000 milligrams. So that does not exceed the maximum. So of course it makes sense. It's perfect. Now, for part B is a little bit more involved. So let's read it. So if you take 1 Tylenol extra pill per hour for 3 hours, all right, what is the maximum number of NyQuil cold and flu pills that you should take, or that should be taken for the remainder of the 24 hours? All right, so let's think about this. In fact, I'm just going to erase all this because we have the internet. And you can pause the video, which is great. All right, so here we go. So we're going to do this again. All right, so let's think about this. You ready? You are taking 1 Tylenol extra pill per hour for 3 hours. All right? So, 1, what are we doing again? We're taking medicine. 2, let's devise a plan now. Here's the problem. We're taking 2 types of medicine. Taking 2 types of meds, right? The first type is our Tylenol, right? And 1 pill has 500 milligrams. But then the second thing we're taking is NyQuil, all right? And we know NyQuil, and I'm going to highlight this in a different color for us, contains 325 milligrams of the acetaminophen, all right? So NyQuil has 325 milligrams of the medicine. In this case, it's going to be that acetaminophen stuff, right? So we need to devise a plan here, all right? So what do we know about the Tylenol? Well, the Tylenol says we're taking 1 pill, so 1 Tylenol extra strength pill per hour for 3 hours. So 1 pill per hour for 3 hours. That means we're taking 3 total pills. All right. So since we know we're taking 3 total pills, and we know each pill is 500 milligrams, that's going to be 1,500 milligrams of acetaminophen. All right. So we know that. We also know that the recommended daily max is 3,250. So the question becomes, well, how much milligrams or how much extra acetaminophen can we take? Well, we have 3,250 minus our 1,500, which leaves us 1,750 milligrams of acetaminophen left over. So we know we could still take NyQuil, but the question becomes now, how much, right? So that's what we're really asking. How much NyQuil? Is that how you spell NyQuil? Yeah, I'm right. Can we take if our max is 1,750 milligrams? Again, what we're really asking here is 325 goes into 1,750. How many times? So it's another division problem. It's just we have less to work with. So 1,750 divided by 325 is approximately 5.38. But, you're not going to take 0.38 of NyQuil. So we're going to go ahead and take 5, what is it? Pills scooped? Yeah, pills. So we're going to take 5 pills of NyQuil. So step 4, does this answer make sense? Well, think about it. We're taking 3 pills of Tylenol and 5 pills of NyQuil. And when you do the math, 3 times 500 plus 5 times 325 has to be less than or equal to our maximum, which is 3,250. So 1,500 plus 1,750 is exactly 3,250, which satisfies our maximum of 3,250 or less than that. So the most important part about this section is just understanding the problems, devising a plan, carrying out the plan, and then ask yourself, does the answer make sense? And I will see you in the next video.